So we have a bit of a situation. The thumbnail for this video, by the way, this is not good. Where Winds Meet down at like, I don't know, 10-20% of its like peak player base. I have my opinions as to why the game is low right now. You gotta understand that even if it's at like 45K or 30K on Steam, it's also got its own client as well. So it's kind of like BDO, so you can like double the number, right? So it's really like 90K, roughly overall players. So kind of like BDO, you can like double the number, right? Launcher client's better. Yeah, a lot of people have it on the launcher. That being said, it's no cope, right? Like the game is at like 10 to 20% of what it was before. Now I have a good idea of why this is, but I'm curious what other people think about it. The problem with Where Winds Meet, and you love to hear people's opinions on stuff like this because, you know, some people are idiots.
I'm going to discuss the biggest issues that the game has, issues which I believe are hurting the game and might eventually lead to a major decline unless they are fixed. Everything.
What do you mean eventually lead to a major decline? We got like 85% of the players aren't playing. What the counts as a major decline?
You're about to hear is coming from someone who has played this game for almost 1000 hours, and I have played a ton of similar games, so this is coming purely from experience. I hope this video reaches the developers of the game and they take action on some of this feedback, because I really like this game a lot and I would hate to see it die down in a couple of months, especially when it has a ton of potential. I have to say that the game does a lot of things right, such as combat, world design, RPG elements and more, but it has too many glaring issues which should not be there and are also easily fixable.
Did this guy put a video of him fighting a literal bot in 1v1 PvP? Like, bro, you think you'd showcase yourself, you know, like gaming on some like super gamer, even if it's low elo, they're not going to know. Like you're shitting down Kevin's throat, you know, whatever. No, he said the best thing I've got for my montage is the bot. Like, this is the best that I can do. What the are we doing? 1,000 hours, by the way.
I think the first major issue is too much focus on social activities and cosmetic rewards.
Holy L, what are we talking about? Oh my god. Okay, I was gonna wait to give my opinion about why the game doesn't have very many players right now compared to previously, but I'm just gonna give it now. I'm just gonna give it now. I'm gonna be honest. The real reason that the Steam charts for this game are in the dumpster right now, I'll pull them up. 44,000 peak, 25,000 playing, you know, an hour ago, whatever. The real reason that the game is so low right now is because we've all finished the content, right? A lot of people have played for the 200 or so hours that the content, you know, like allotted previously. They've done all the bosses, they've done the main story, they've done all the blue quest lines, you know, the vast majority of people are not going to stick around to do like the little like mini games and stuff, right? Like it's just the truth, right? And the people that are sticking around are typically, this is like the PvPers. Like most of the people that are left in the community are the PvPers. The PvEers are not playing right now. Not because they dislike the game or that it was bad or anything, but the reason that they're not playing right now is because, you know, there's not much to do. They're waiting for Hexy to come out. I'm going to call it Hexy. They're waiting for the expansion. That's all it is. And the PvPers, this is about the percentage of the community that really likes to do the PvP, right? And those people, they just have consistent content forever. They do the 1v1 stuff. You got the 3v3 coming out, right? They'll just do PvP for like all the time. They love PvP. And they'll keep doing it, so they have repetitive content that they can do. But for the PvEers, I mean, they ain't got not much to do, right? Like, I know that I have not been playing. I mean, I think that most people, if you look at how much you've played in the last 30 days and you compare it to the previous 30 days, it's probably a lot less. Why? Because you just reached the end of the content. And that's how Where Winds Meet works. That's what you need to understand about this game. Like, it's not a game that you're just going to play infinitely forever. Like, I mean, it might be, but like, really what keeps you driving and continuing to play the game is that they release new content, they release a new expansion, or they release new stuff, and you come back and you play the new stuff. And then when you're done with the new content, you put the game down and you wait, right? I mean, shit, bro, there's only so much daily stuff that you can do, right? I mean, tons of extremely successful games go through this exact same cycle, even like World of Warcraft. So all of this to say, I think that when the expansion comes out, you're going to see these numbers go right back up into the 6 digits, no problem. Cleanly above the 6-digit marker, no problem. And again, World of Warcraft is a perfect example of this. When does everybody go back to play WoW? When the new expansion comes out, everybody goes back to play WoW. They play it for a month and a half or so, and then they stop playing WoW again. Right? And a lot of games go through this cycle of just like, you know, you really enjoy the game, you play it a ton, and then you don't play it at all, and you wait for the expansion to come out. And then you play it a ton, and then you wait for the expansion to come out. So you see these big peaks. And I think that's what we're going to see with Where Winds Meet. I sincerely do not think that a lot of people quit Where Winds Meet because fundamentally it's flawed, right? And the game does have its flaws, but I don't think that people are like, oh my God, I can't handle the fact that there are too many social activities and cosmetic rewards. No. And now to get back to this guy's take on this guy is like, there's too much focus on social activity and cosmetic rewards. I'm going to be honest with you. This is just my take. I think there's not enough social activities. I think that there's not enough like shit that you can do with your community that keeps you playing the game beyond the new content. I think that if there was more social activities, more ways to interact with each other, and more ways to really form like friendships in the game, more reasons to get in Discord and chill with people that are also playing the game at the same time. If there were more reasons like that, more people would stick with the game outside of just the expansion releases. I think it is quite literally the exact opposite of what he just said. And cosmetic rewards, again, opposite. I love cosmetic rewards. I think that cosmetic rewards are incredible, especially since that like some of the cosmetics in the game cost thousands of dollars. I think that it's really, really cool that if you do a lot of PvE, you can unlock certain outfits or you can unlock certain like weapon skins, right? Because they're like a rare drop or whatever. That's amazing. I wish they would do more of that. I wish there were more Easter eggs in the game like that. Okay, so the exact opposite of what this guy is suggesting, at least in this first one. And I didn't know, again, somebody just sent me this video, so I didn't know. I'm just giving my 2 cents. Now I'm going to let him explain this opinion.
In this game, 90% of the activities you can complete do not actually feel rewarding, and they are very shallow. The majority of the rewards you can obtain from the new events or various role-playing activities such as joining a sect consist of cosmetics or other items related to fashion. Now, there's not...
I do think that there should be more rewards for actively, like being active in a guild. And I think that there should be more, there should be more involved in being in a sect. I think you should get more for being in a sect. That being said, I think that most of the activities in the game are extremely rewarding, and that's why people played the game for 200 straight hours without stopping. Some people just, they had trouble sleeping.
Nothing wrong with having fashion content and rewards in the game, but the problem comes when 90% of your content is all revolved around fashion and players who enjoy collecting various costumes and hero titles and so on, but what about the players who care more about combat and progression? It's pretty clear that the developers spent a lot of time designing the combat system and the progression system, which are great,
of course,
but at the end of the day, there is almost no content that makes use of both of them at their full potential. Almost all the events and activities in the game are actually social.
I think that they absolutely have concepts in the game that use the combat system to its fullest potential. Look at every boss that you fought. What are we talking about? Every boss that you fought is literally cinema amazing. Like that's the reason, and part of it is so cinema amazing is because the combat is helping immerse you in the experience. Again, why are you showing PvP? Because the combat and the PvP is an immersive, rewarding experience.
Events or fetch quests, and most of the time there are very little character progression rewards you can...
Now, for what it's worth, I do think that they need to, events need to be condensed into the same menu. All events, there just needs to be like one event going on, and like that event has a menu. Delete all of the other event menus, but you have one event menu and it's currently going on, and then you can get all of the really good rewards from one event instead of having 9 events that give the exact same amount of rewards, because then that's 15 more menus for each event. I'd rather have one event menu with like 3 menus total than have each event have its own menu and then they all have their own sub menus and all this other shit. That's fair.
Obtain from them. There is almost no content that requires you to use your build and your combat skills besides PvP. Of course, there's nothing wrong with social events, I enjoy them as well, but when it's literally all you're getting for a whole month, it's not good. The problem with all of these
That's dude, the logic on this guy is literally insane. And I'm not trying to like completely cook the out of him, but I'm gonna be honest, bro. The reason that they're releasing social content, like, you got to understand how communities work in games like this. So they release the expansion, right? Huge spike in players. What keeps players playing beyond the initial expansion? Once they finish the content, what is keeping the baseline level of players playing the game? Is it new content coming out, or is it the community? Okay, because the real answer is the events. Shut up. The real answer is a little bit the events, but it's really just your friends and your community. So the reason that they're releasing social events between big expansion releases, right, is because they're trying to retain those players, right, by giving them something to do that, you know, they don't necessarily have new content for the game to release, but they're encouraging you to go interact with other players, which in and of itself is repeatable content, right? So, like, again, having those social interactions and having more ways to socially interact with people and form friendships and like gives you more reasons to log in and play the game, because it keeps your playing longer.
social or role-playing activities in the game is that they're also very shallow and non-rewarding. Most of them are done in less than 5 minutes.
I would agree with him on something like this, in that I think that the group events in the game should be much more rewarding. It should strongly encourage you to go do stuff. Like,
Then you have to do it again, for example,
yeah, most of them are like RP purposes, right?
wrestling or bounties or playing mahjong with other players. The majority of the rewards you get from these events consist of some random currency with which you can buy more cosmetics or small amounts of coins. My suggestion for the developers is to have more activities and more events that reward us with inner way note chests, gear chests, coins, and other upgrade materials, and more events that focus.
Add more activities and events rewarding progression materials, and which are focused around combat. Okay, so the problem with this is usually this big lull in players you see here. If they make the rewards for these social events just more progression materials, well, generally speaking, after you finish the main content for an expansion and the game starts coming back down again, you've already reached max gear score. More progression materials are really not going to help you a whole lot, especially if you've been playing the game like super actively this entire time. More progression materials are not going to help tremendously. More progression materials helps when the new expansion comes out, because all of those players are trying to get their progression materials. That makes sense. But like, we're talking about this group of players. These players have maxed out gear, right? So I would argue that actually it doesn't need to be progression materials. It needs to be cosmetics. I think that like adding really, really cool cosmetics that get people to log in to be like, oh yeah, I want the cool spear skin that I can get from that event, or I want the mask that I can get from this, that, or the other thing, right? That's what keeps people playing long term. That's what keeps people playing in Naraka too. Like, they're like, oh yeah, the cosmetics are really, really good, right?
Chests, gear.
Yeah, I'm close to maxing inner ways. Yeah, this is not what he's just not thinking it through. This is not going to help with this problem. If they gave crazy, believe it or not, it actually hurts the problem. If they gave crazy progression materials away for social rewards, then people would quit the game a lot sooner because they maxed out their gear score and they're done with the content even sooner. The line would be even steeper and you'd go right back down to this level. It's literally the exact opposite of what he's saying here, which are focused around combat. I don't mind it being focused around combat. I think that's reasonable.
Chests, coins, and other upgrade materials, and more events that focus around PvE or even PvP combat. Now you might ask, why can't I just go and farm gear and materials to progress my character? Why don't I just play PvE content which revolves around combat, such as Sword Trial or Hero's Realm?
I think that a big thing for this game would be like 10v10. I think like a 10v10 arena would go kind of hard, and I think it would really get people. It would increase player retention like a lot. Mainly because and 3v3 arenas, 5v5 arenas, 10v10 arenas, stuff like that. The game really excels at small scale PvP. I think the 30v30 game mode, I understand. I'm just gonna have a hot take on this. I know I'm the large scale PvP guide. I don't really like the 30v30 game mode very much, mainly because it's laggy. There's desync. The game is not really geared for 30v30 content like a whole lot. I think that like treating that as like a for fun game mode is pretty cool, but I don't think that that is what is going to keep players around. The 30v30 game mode, in my opinion, is not going to keep players playing the game, but a 10v10 game mode would, because there's a lot less people. And so what you do matters more in a situation like that. And the game really excels at that smaller scale PvP, right? And I think that like you can cultivate guilds around 10v10, add leaderboards for 10v10, add leaderboards for 5v5, add leaderboards for 3v3, etc. Right? Also, adding more like prison breaks and GVGs would be really, really cool. Like that encourage just all of the active players that are currently playing the game to show up and like just be at an open world PvP event. You know, that would be super sick. People would really like that. But structured 30v30 instance game mode just doesn't work as well for a game designed like Where Winds Meet is. And I appreciate that they have the game mode, right? It's fun, right, for people. And I'm not trying to put disrespect on the guilds that do it. You know, it'd be fun. But like, I think that the game succeeds a lot more on the small scale side of things.
This is where the second major issue comes, and that is the energy system. Now I understand.
I mean, I talked to them about this. Believe me, the reason the energy system sucks is because we hate daily and weekly gated content. You can say this until you're blue in the face. We hate daily and weekly gated content. We hate it. We just want to play the game as much as we want. But the devs are very intentionally trying to slow down your progress so that you play the game longer over time, which is annoying.
Understand the general idea behind an energy system in a video game. To create
but, I mean, all gacha games do this. Not that Where Winds Meet is necessarily like a traditional, like one of those anime gacha games like Wuwa or Genshin Impact or whatever, but there are similarities between them for sure. And like, you know, all of them use this energy system shit.
Artificial engagement and ensure that players never run out of content.
Where Winds Meet is just Genshin Impact 2. I'm proud of you. That was probably the most statement that I've heard all week. And that's impressive. Because earlier this week, somebody asked me why my microwave was so close to my computer. They felt that the brain waves from the microwave would disrupt the computer. But you know what? That statement right there, crisp. Okay. Absolutely crisp. Holy shit. Ashley, she rage baiting.
Problem is, this type of system is clearly designed from a business point of view and not a player experience point of view. There are basically zero benefits for the players.
You know what'll help you? Bigger titties. I'm gonna be honest with you. I brought this up. You guys know I brought this up. You guys know that I met the dev team and I was like, boobs. What would the players like? Boobs. Boobs. That's what we would like. You actually said it to them? Yeah, we were sitting around the dinner table. I'm not joking. We were eating, I think it was lunch, actually. We're eating lunch. And I'm like, so, the most common question that I get about the game is, why is there not, and again, these are the top two questions, and I'm not joking, because they literally are the top two questions in the Discord. Why is there not a boob slider, and why is there not a thigh slider? Not joking. The number one and number two most asked questions. And to be clear, there was one point, like a couple days later, when I was talking with the dev team, and I was scrolling through my Discord on my phone in front of him, and we're like reading the questions out loud, and I'm like asking him questions. And like every other question is boobs, boobs, please more boobs, boobs, thighs, give us thighs and boobs. I'm like, please excuse all of these. I'm like scrolling through it. It's actually just so embarrassing. That being said, I did bring it up. And they have absolutely zero intention of adding boobs and thigh sliders. And I insisted. I said, okay, I understand that because from their perspective, they want the Chinese women of the game to be beautiful, right? Like they just want them to be beautiful. They don't want to be known as like the Stellar Blade. We're just gonna make our women all lewd and shit, right? And I get that. I respect that, and I think that's pretty cool. Also, boobs. I think, and I was like, hear me out. I said, we don't need them to be like naked boobs. You can fully clothe them, but like, yeah, having diversity. Yeah, in America, we talk a lot about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And right now, we feel like there's just not enough diversity and inclusion of the double D and above boob sizes, also thighs. The answer is no. We're not getting a boob slider or a thigh slider. It's cooked.
When you implement an
I think that they could make a stupid amount more money. I don't think, and the way that I tried to pitch it to him was that, like, dude, you don't need to make the outfits more lewd. The outfits can be totally normal, traditional Chinese, fully clothed, you know, but like people like it when the boobs are bigger. It's just true.
energy system. First of all, you are preventing players from playing the game how much they want to, which is already the worst design choice you can make.
Wait, what?
For the players when you implement an energy system.
Oh, the
First
energy
of all,
system.
you are preventing players from playing the game how much they want
Crazy
to,
underscore
which is already
Canute
the
just
worst design
resubscribed
choice
for 22 months. How goes Baldy?
Yeah, crazy. Good for 22 months, man. Almost at 2 full years, brother.
you can make. Instead of having mastery-based progression, you now have calendar-based progression, which is less satisfying for the players.
It is.
Why spend
He's
time
right.
designing complex progression systems if we can only progress a tiny amount each day due to these limitations that you are
I completely agree with him on this. As some of his other takes were, I agree.
implementing? How am I supposed
I hate daily and weekly gated content. I hate it.
to enjoy the great combat system when I can't do combat more than 5 minutes per day?
Like, it also makes it, and this is another point on the graph for the devs. It also makes up the game a lot harder to stream. Like, a lot harder to stream. It makes the game really hard to make content for because you start streaming and you're done with the daily content that you can do within like 30 minutes. You're already out of shit to do. You literally, and what are you supposed to do on stream for the next 7 hours? So like, it is better advertisement for your game to allow us to play the game more. Right? Like, it's just hard. I ran into the same problem with Throne and Liberty. Throne and Liberty, everything's gated, right? So you do your dungeons, you do your open world stuff, and then you do your contracts, and then you're just out of stuff to do within an hour. Like within 30 minutes to an hour, you're just out of shit to do. And then you're just running around waiting in queue for PvP, or you're just like, for me, I'm just like, I guess I'm gonna do reacts, right? Like that's rough. It's tough, right? And it's tough because it keeps content creators from playing your game, right? They're gonna see I'm not even like gonna be able to submit for the creator program probably this month, like the incentive program this month for Where Winds Meet because I don't have much to do in the game. Also, they gave me beta access for the Hexy region. Like I'm on like a NetEase account playing Hexy, and they want me to like put out a video for like all of this shit, and like I can't play it on stream, right? So like I'm trying to actually I asked them if I could wait. Oh, she respond? Okay, well she hasn't responded yet. Anyway, spell NDA, Mr. Streamer. It's not an NDA. I mean, guys, it's not. Bro, I got to play it in China too. It's no secret. I've gotten to play it. Okay. But like they got me playing it, right? And so it's difficult for me to play that and then come back and play the live version of the game on stream because I'm like, well, I only really you drain your energy in like what 30 minutes and then you're done for the next like 2 days, 3 days, right? Bruh, show us. Well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be respectful to them. Like if they don't want me to show it on stream, then I'm not going to. But they, it's part of the videos. Like I'm gonna add it to my China vlog videos. Like I want to be able to, since I was in Hexy, and this is part of the reason they gave me I was literally in the Gobi Desert in Hexy. Okay, that's where I was. Okay, so like I can put like side by sides of shots in the game and shots IRL, and I can't develop those videos unless I have shots from in game, right? So like really, I'm not really playing a whole lot of the bosses, guys. I'm really just using it for panning screenshots of the game so that I can show you guys stuff. So I'm really not doing a whole lot. I haven't fought any of the bosses or anything since they gave me the access there, but yeah.
Hear me out, maintain character level cap or breakthrough stuff, but remove energy system and nerf the probability to get legend gears. Fair?
Chat, what if they dramatically decrease the ability to get endgame gear? It was just RNG, but they removed the energy system. You could do it as much as you wanted. You could do the sword trials, the dungeons, the bosses, all of it as much as you wanted and continually get rewards no matter what, but the drop rates were much lower. Would you like that more? Would you like that more? In fact, I can literally just put it up on the boom boom. There it is right there. If you want to read it, there it is. Like, would you like it more if the gear was harder to get in terms of drop rate, but you could infinitely do all of the content and it would always give you rewards? There's no energy. There's advantages and disadvantages to both systems, right? Yeah, so there's a decent amount of people saying no, and there's some people saying yes, right? And it's kind of mixed. It's kind of mixed. And I think that the advantages of doing it the way that we currently have it are that it's better for casual players that don't really want to, they don't want to have to play all the time, right? They don't want to have, they don't want the game to be an endless gear grind, right? The disadvantages is you retain a lot less players over time. Like a lot less players. Like there would be a lot more players playing the game right now if the drop rate for the gear was really low, but you could do it all the time. There would be a lot more players playing the game right now. There would be, because there would be people still grinding for their gear. But again, you'd lose some of the casual players, right? Yeah, the no lifers. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's back and forth. And I wanted to show, like, I like to show your guys' opinion on stuff. You failed your one job for us when you went to China. No boob slider. I know. I'm sorry, guys. In fairness, I do respect the fact that they don't want to add a boob slider to the game. They want like the Chinese beauty of the game to be like, you know, she just looks beautiful. You know, you look at her face, she's just gorgeous, right? And that's how they want you to look at women, is just in a very respectful manner. And I get that, right? Because that matches Chinese culture.
The energy system limitations. There is a limit of 550 energy, and you get 180 energy per day. If you do one sword trial boss and claim the triple reward, you are consuming 180 energy, and it takes only 5 minutes. That's literally the only thing you can do in a whole day with your energy, one run of sword trial. Hero's Realm doesn't require energy to claim rewards.
Literally, I can claim triple twice and already be done for the next like 4 days. That's what I'm doing right now, is I'll log in, do sword trial 2 times, get the level ups, do the breakthrough, whatever, and then I'll just log out. That's it. What's max level in the game right now? Is it like 85 right now?
Difficult to complete as well. So you would think that you should be able to farm it repeatedly, right? Wrong.
Yeah, it's 85, yeah. Yeah, I'm not there. I'm not 85 yet.
You can only do it once per week to claim the rewards. What is even the point of having an endgame raid mode with 10 players if you can only do it once per week? It literally...
He does bring up a good point. I agree with him on this issue. I think that like the content is way too weakly gated. I think that you should be able to do the 10-man raid system at least 3 to 5 times a week, if you want to. If you want to. Like, I understand if you want to weekly gate it, sure, but like once, dude, let us do it like 3 to 5 times. That way, you know, like if some of our friends weren't there, they could still do it, right?
Makes no sense to me. I don't enjoy PvP. It's not rewarding. I just want to do PvE content and progress my character. But guess what? I can't do any of that more than 5 minutes per day, because that's how long it takes me to consume all of my daily energy. What is even there to do in this game after you spend all of your daily energy? Pretty much nothing. Nothing besides, of course, social activities and events that reward you with mostly cosmetic items.
How about maintain the energy cap like usual? Good for casual players that have jobs, and for the unemployed, still can grind gears past energy cap but with way less probability legend gears.
W. I would do that too. You do a little of both. After you run out of energy, if you do it, you can collect the rewards, but the probability goes way down. So I think that's fine. That way, the casual players are happy, right? Casual players are super happy because they can still use their energy and feel like their time is super efficient. But then the no-lifers are also happy because they can just endlessly do the content. But like, you know, the drop rate's like abysmally low, but like, you know, it's like it's like a 1% or less drop rate on the legendary gear, but they can do it endlessly and they don't feel like their time is worthless. I think that people would like that. Yeah. I think that they would really, really like that. By the way, Umbrella users are virgins. This is look at this shit.
Even there to do in this game after you spend all of your daily energy.
Look at this shit. Look at this.
Pretty much nothing.
What? Look at the health on the boss.
Nothing
What-
besides,
What
of
should be
course,
uncapped
social
is home.
activities
What
and events
is
that
this?
reward you with
The
Shit!
materials are already uncapped.
cosmetic items. I understand that another
Dude! Umbrella mains, dude. Holy shit!
advantage of the energy system is to cater to casual players who don't have much time to play, but this is a problem that must be resolved in some other way. Why are you punishing dedicated players that want to play your game for many hours per day just to keep them at the same level as all other players?
Oh, and he doesn't even have. This is so gay. I'm just gonna. This is gay. This is gayer than my spear. This is.
Players that want
Look
to
at
play
this
your game for
shit.
many hours per day.
I had to jump over and like dodge and like do all this shit when the waves come over. He's just floating in the air. Look at this flamboyant so gay.
Just to keep them at the
So gay, dude.
same level
Holy
as all other
shit,
players.
dude.
How am I supposed
This is
to
rage bait content. It's literally a rage bait video.
get a sense of progression through gameplay if you are only letting me play 5 minutes per day?
Dude's
while
cosplaying
progressing my
Mary
character?
Poppins.
My suggestion for the developers is to either remove the energy system completely, which is probably impossible at this point, or simply give us one single game mode where we can repeatedly farm for gear. In a way, no.
Why not let everything be farmable for gear? I liked the suggestion from one of my in chat, like where you just do kind of both, where like when you run out of energy, the drop rate on stuff goes like way the down. You can no life it, but you know, like whatever.
Modes and materials. I think the most suitable game mode for this would be the Hero's Realm, because it's actually hard to complete and it takes time and effort. Just allow us to claim unlimited rewards from it, and
I think that both things. I think Sword Trials, Heroes Realm, all of this stuff should be doable. That way, if you don't want to deal with the queue, the 5-man system, and dealing with idiots that don't know how to like the mechanics on the boss, it's still okay.
this would also encourage players to spend more time in multiplayer content, which would be great. Personally, I don't care about the majority of the cosmetics items from the events. Why? Because they look pretty mediocre compared to the cosmetics in the store.
What? What are we? Bro, the cosmetics in the store cost $2,000. What? I would hope that my spear looks better. I'm gonna be on it. Like what are we doing? What are we doing? What? Of course the free-to-play cosmetics are gonna look a little worse. I want to be clear. I actually think that a decent amount of the free-to-play cosmetics you get from the events and you get from just playing the game are actually better than the shit that you can buy in the store. For real. Like, I'm not even joking. I actually think that it is better than most of the shit you can buy in the store. With the notable exception of spending like the $400 to like $2,000 on the other shit. I'm still waiting for the Moblade skin to come out. I'm hoping that the Moblade skin doesn't come out for like the next month and a half at least, so that my bank account has time to recover. No shit. Literally no shit. Like,
I would rather just wait until I get a cool legendary costume and just wear a random one until then, than spend all of this time doing various boring activities to get some random cosmetics. This leads us to the next major issue, which is the cosmetic aspect and monetization.
this is an issue? The monetization of the game is an issue? This is like the selling point for a lot of players. This is like the primary selling point. I'm glad Where Winds Meet copied AOC when it comes to its monetization. The monetization system for Ashes of Creation was to shut the game down after stealing everyone's money. So I don't know what you mean by copy. Now, that being said, I think that the monetization is legitimately the reason why a lot of people were attracted to the game in the first place. Free to play, everything's based around cosmetic gacha. I don't know. I legitimately don't know anybody that's upset about that. The only thing you might be upset about is that the cosmetic gacha is so expensive sometimes that it's absolutely ridiculous. But like, can you really argue? As somebody in chat said before, for the BDO devs got to eat. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Now listen, I get it. It's a free-to-play game and it's super high quality, so they need a strong monetization system to make up for it. It's also the only non-pay-to-win free-to-play game I've ever seen, so I really appreciate them for that. However,
have you tried Highguard? Free to play, no pay to win. Just a thought. Cross my mind.
The fact that I've been playing this game for 3 months non-stop every day, participated in every single event and even bought all the premium battle passes, and I still don't have a single legendary Harmony costume is a bit
Yeah, dude.
ridiculous.
Brother. So there it is. He's upset because he's broke. That's the problem right there. You're pissed. Yeah. You're pissed. Like, brother. These skins, these are meant to be overwhelmingly rare. Like, only the top 5 to 1% of players in the game are ever going to spend the kind of money you have to spend to get this stuff. He's like, I've bought every battle pass, every premium thing, whatever. What is that? Like $100 tops? It's like $100. One of these skins costs 4 times that. Literally 4x. Okay? For one of these. So you can't get mad that you don't have one yet. Okay? And to be clear, they do give away free pulls all the time. And he's got 1 orb already. So he's almost there. He's already got 1 orb. Right? He's halfway to something that it took me almost $500 US to just buy. Okay? That's just the way that it is. Okay? They're not going to give legendary skins away for free for 2 reasons. 1, money, obviously. Okay? 2, these are like exclusive skins that are supposed to like represent in a big way Chinese culture, like a big deal, especially like this Tian Ying skin. This is like a very iconic outfit for a character that is very prominent in Chinese history, like Tian Ying. Okay, like it's a big deal to be wearing that around the game. They can't just hand shit like that out for free, bro. It would take oh sorry, it would take it out of the game. To be clear, you say you can't see, bro. It's on the screen. It's literally on the screen. It's the one he's looking at. It's literally the one he's looking at. But like, it would take away from like owning the skin if they just handed it away for free. And they would honestly sell less skins if they handed these away really frequently for free, because it would be less exclusive and less people would spend money because like, oh, I'll just get it for free anyway. Right? Like it's just the truth.
I think the pity system needs a major revamp.
Also, it's really important to be able to distinguish between people that are broke that can't afford skins like this and people that can afford skins like this so that women know who they're supposed to talk to. You know, I have a much higher chance of attracting a Chinese girlfriend. And in fact, I am talking to... never mind.
Or they need to give us more harmonic cores to exchange for costumes.
Never mind.
Can you actually believe that we had the holiday season and New Year celebration and we didn't get a single harmonic core or legendary costume? Not to mention that 9 Mortal Ways event, which tricked us into thinking we're getting a free harmonic core, which was a slap in the face. I managed to pull 1 harmonic core last month and now I still have 75 draws left until a guaranteed legendary. So
Yeah.
I'm still at least 1 month away from getting the legendary costume that I want.
Tough shit. Tough shit. That's what happened. Welcome to the life of a free-to-play player. At a bare minimum, at least you aren't dealing with, well, I didn't spend any money this month, so everybody around me has 3 times the gear score. You ever played a game like that? I played Black Desert Online. Throne in Liberty. Okay? I'm going to tell you about how much fun it is when you don't spend money in those games. Super fun. Really, really fun.
I read that free-to-play China players only get like 3 guaranteed PT draws per year, which
Holy they get 3 a year? Oh my god! You should be thankful! You get 3 free pity draws a year. Do you know what it's like in Naraka Blade Point? Do you know how hard it is to get to a pity in Naraka? You're lucky if you get 1 in a year. Lucky. If you play all the time. All the time.
seems a bit too low. The fact that they made these costumes so much better looking than all the other costumes from all the events just makes it even harder to care for any cosmetic reward, and most of them are also just recolored versions of existing costumes. Even the battle
So why do you care then? I love it. Oh, they don't even look that good. I don't even like them. They're just reskin. If you're a broke boy, just say so.
costumes which we pay for are pretty mediocre. Another major issue is related to the gear system and the upgrading system. There is way too much RNG in the gear farming system and too many limitations when it comes to min-maxing and upgrading gear. Ever since they have introduced the legendary rarity, I noticed that it takes a very long time to get a full set of 8 legendary gear pieces. This is, of course,
It didn't take me very long to get all my legendaries. Bro, I had all the legendaries, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky. It didn't take me very long. Matter of weeks. Like again, I guess my frame of reference is different. You know, Black Desert player, 8 years to get endgame gear, tens of thousands of dollars, weeks. So to me, I'm just like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. Maybe it is a bigger deal for other people. What up, Cyclo? How you doing, buddy?
another consequence of the energy system, but you can't have both systems in the same game. You can't have an energy system which limits how much gear we can farm, but then you also have insane RNG, which makes it very difficult to get legendary gear pieces.
Brother. You keep using the word insane with the word RNG. You keep using this word. I'm not sure it means what you think it means. I'm sorry, but I've played games where the RNG chance for getting something is 0.1%. And you roll up and you're like, oh, damn, that's pretty good. Sweet, let's get to it. Like, not joking. Like, there's some drops that you grind for in MMOs, like, even in games like World of Warcraft, right? You're grinding for your raid gear and stuff. My brother in Christ. Like, people do the same raid hundreds of times. Don't get the gear that they want. I don't think that this RNG thing, if anything, it keeps people playing the game longer because they don't have the gear that they want. So, giving people the gear that they want quicker, which is what you're advocating for, would hurt you. People would quit faster.
On average, I get about 2 legendary gear pieces from 18 legendary gear chests. The problem is
BDO on PS5 is really beautiful. This guy looks at a 300-pound Albanian woman and just thinks to himself, man, if I could just get up in that. His standards are low.
is that you need 8 different legendary pieces and there's a high chance you're getting duplicate items. For example, I've been playing an umbrella build for about 1 week now and I'm still missing 2 legendary pieces despite farming for gear daily.
What? Are you kidding me? You've been playing the game, as you said, over 1,000 hours. Over 1,000 hours. Okay? Every day for 3 months. And you're not full yellow? Your bow isn't even yellow. I don't know, man.
This is annoying because I can't start upgrading my gear until I get all the legendary pieces. Why? Because I would be wasting my coins, which are also capped on how many you can farm. Upgrading gear requires tuning materials, including other gear pieces and large amounts of coins. The problem? You are capped on how many coins you can farm because of the energy system and because of the weekly coin cap, which is only 175,000, which is extremely low. Besides being capped on how many gear pieces you can farm and being capped on how many coins you can farm to upgrade your gear, there is also a massive RNG system when upgrading your gear. All the attributes that can roll on a gear piece are completely random. You can't control what attributes you get, and most of them are useless for your specific build. Realistically speaking, any build will need at most 7 or 8 specific attributes.
As shitty as this sounds, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. The entire video is about trying to increase the player base. And as shitty as this is going to sound, RNG does increase the amount of players playing the game. If you get all the best gear in the entire game with all the best traits and everything right away, you just stop playing. You got nothing else to grind for. In a up way, adding RNG to systems like this keeps people playing much, much longer than they should. It's just the truth. So again, if we're trying to increase the player base, if anything, they should be adding more RNG, which is not necessarily what I'm advocating for. But I will say that the current amount of RNG that they have is, one, not that bad. Again, play an MMO at some point. Tell me about RNG. And two, again, it keeps people playing longer than they should.
And there are more than 20 attributes that can randomly roll on any gear piece. Now, of course, there is no problem with having this type of RNG, but when you combine it with the energy system, gear drop RNG and coins limitation, you get a system which makes it almost impossible to get a full set of 8 gear pieces, all with perfect stats on them.
That's
Why
the
even
point,
bother?
bro. No, that's the whole point. Is that here's the deal. A casual player is going to look at this. How many of you would look at this gear piece right here and be like, all right, sweet. The umbrella's done. Right? I know I would. I'd look at this and be like, all right, we all done. You know what I'm saying? We good. Right? But the whole point of this RNG system is so that the no-lifers that are like, I have to have these recommended, I need it. Okay? Those players can keep grinding for these extra 2 recommended pieces and just keep endlessly grinding like that, right? But for the casual players, it's not necessarily the end of the world. Right?
Creating such a deep gear system in the first place. In the latest update, they finally added a method to reroll one
Gollum sounding ass. Tell me that super no-lifers that play games for thousands of hours in like 1 or 2 months don't sound and look just like Gollum, but a lot fatter. Case in point, I'm eating Cheez-Its.
tuning and one attunement attribute on your gear. But of course they messed up again by implementing some crazy limitations to how much you can do that. You can only reroll 1 tuning and 2 attunement attributes per week. Yes, you heard that right, only 3 total stats reroll per week. What is even the thought process behind a decision like that? Why are you trying to limit
Because they want you to play more than 1 week.
what you can do so much? My suggestion for the developers is to make the retuning and alteration materials be farmable in Campaign Challenge, Heroes Realm and Sword Trial, just like the attunement stones. It makes literally 0 sense to only have them in the Battle Pass shop. There are 8 gear pieces in total, and assuming they all have perfect stats -1, it will still take you 2 months to reroll all the stats
I think that's a fair complaint.
on each of your gear pieces. By that time, the next level breakthrough comes and makes your entire gear set useless. This leads us into the next and final major
Yeah, but we're almost at max level, though. We're at 85. Hexy probably gives us 90. I think that China's at level 100. We're not very much further off them now.
issue, which is the level breakthrough. I can perfectly understand the idea behind this system, which is to align the character progression with
This
90s
man
and
just
28
sounds
days?
like
Oh.
he wants to complete the game in 2 weeks and never touch it again.
Well, I think it comes from a player who's never played like a grindy game like this. I don't think that this guy has ever played like a super grind game. Ever. He's probably never 100%ed a game like Elden Ring or something, right? Like, he's not used to these kind of systems, and he doesn't understand that if he implements stuff like this, that there actually would be even less players, in my opinion.
the addition of
Okay, so China's like 120? Oh, okay.
major new content expansions,
Yeah.
but the way it's implemented right now just makes no sense, because it's punishing the players instead of helping them. Whenever a level breakthrough happens, because your gear is kept based
I thought he played Souls games. There's a difference between saying you've played Souls games and saying you've 100% at Elden Ring. Massive fucking difference. Huge difference.
on a level breakthrough, new higher tiers of gear will become available, making your current gear
I was
of the
told by
previous
someone who plays on CN that soon we will be able to keep our gear with every breakthrough, and our gear would just become the new tier or something.
That's great too. I'm down with that. That'd be awesome.
tier completely useless. Yes, we have the arsenal system where we can add gear to get a stat boost, but it's only a small boost compared to the effort we put into our gear. Why am I even spending time and effort min-maxing my build, getting the best possible stats if it all becomes useless in a couple of weeks?
That's exactly how I feel. He's right about that. I have zero motivation to try to min-max any of my shit because it's just gonna change anyway, bro.
Why did you spend time developing this gear system which requires min-maxing and a ton of
Because we don't have all of the content yet. Is this guy just like completely, first of all, that guy's name is Yinlin, based as anime hentai, like gooner right there. That being said, this guy, I just don't think he understands that like we have so much more content to get in the game that like eventually we're going to hit like the max level. We're going to be really close to max level and it's going to slow down your leveling up, and eventually the breakthrough, you're not going to have to break through anymore. And eventually you're going to try to min-max all of your gear because you're going to be at the level cap. So, like,
upgrading if you're going to constantly make the players throw their entire
yeah, we have March 6th is the new Hexy expansion. Hershey.
gear set away every month. It's just a baffling design choice for me. I don't understand why they couldn't implement a system that would allow us to raise the tier of our gear to keep up with the latest content. All of this
Every person this guy has fought, I swear to God, is a bot.
Dashixiv just resubscribed for 2 months.
This is some low elo shit right here, bro. I haven't even seen people use their Mystic Arts, bro. Like, just some low elo shit right here. Dashy, welcome back for 2 months, man. Appreciate you. Thanks so much, man.
systems would not be an issue if there wasn't for the energy
Says
system.
you have seen your PvP. I think the people can vouch. I'm better than these people are. 100%. I haven't even seen anybody parry him. Right? Like, I do use my Mystic Art skills. Right? I use them all the time. Right? I'm maybe
In
not
every
like crazy
MMO,
well, but I
you have
use
the
them.
exact same stats as endgame, but nobody cares about the stats while leveling and not at max level. Nice to have, but not required.
Correct.
Because
His gear is holding him back. So true.
then you would just farm your gear set back up in a few days. The way these systems
Honestly, basically a verse level.
exist right now, it just feels like a major contradiction between them.
By the way, I was talking to the dev team, and hopefully somebody can clip this and send it to a verse. I was talking to the dev team, and I happened to mention, I said, yeah, no, like a really good player, like a verse. And the dev literally stopped, and he was like, oh, that guy, dude, he is a god. He is super good. And I was like, oh shit, bro, they know. They put some respect on his name. Okay, they like him. They like him. They're like his gold. They're like the gold standard. Like, they're glazing him. They absolutely glaze the shit out of him. Absolutely glaze the shit out of him.
You're telling me I can't farm more than 18 gear pieces per day, and I can't reroll more than 3 stats per week, but then in 1 month you're taking away all of my gear and making me start all over again? Why? Just remove the weekly coin cap, which will make players play more socially
Yeah, we talked about this. Not gonna happen.
than they do now.
Add returning alteration materials as regular drops. I don't really know about that. Make one farming mode infinitely repeatable. Why one? Why not just all of them? Why would you say one? Reduce pity rate or increase drop rate for cosmetics. What? Okay. Add new system to allow us to increase the gear tier. I think it would be fine if when we broke through, our gear immediately became the new tier.
Add the retuning
Then I would try to min-max the gear that I was currently wearing.
and alteration materials as regular drops from the endgame modes, and give us one game mode where
Yeah, this guy would make it 3 days into Black Desert and then be like, I have to do what? Holy f-. This guy is the kind of the kid that stops when he gets to Desert Nagas, kills like the 8th pack and goes, I can't do it, it's too much.
we can farm gear and coins infinitely. If you want to still cater to casual players as well, simply add some type of catch-up mechanics in the game to allow them to progress faster. There is nothing wrong with more dedicated players being ahead of casual players, it's natural.
There actually is a problem with that, because if the casual player feels like they're too far behind the hardcores, they think, what's the point, and they stop logging in. There's a big problem with it. But it's okay to, like, again, have like a soft cap. So like you grind, and like you reach like a soft cap on something, and then it's like much lower efficiency to continue grinding, and to let the sweats get marginally more power level. Right? So like if a casual player, which I think I represent the casual player base more than I represent the hardcore player base for the game. If a casual player like me looks over and I just do my energy and I log out for the day. And then I look over at somebody like a Verse who just grinds nonstop, and he is marginally like a little bit stronger than me, right? He's got like min-max gear and whatnot. I'm going to be like, yeah, but I didn't have to spend any time on it, so it's fine, right? Like the casual players, this gap is not like super high, right? Or super big. I think it encourages casual players to continue playing the game. I think if the gap between like the really hardcore sweats and the casual players is too high, it's too big, I think you just discourage people from playing.
You are supposed to reward people for playing the game, and
A Verse is not grinding, PvP has no reward. If you think that a Verse literally hasn't completed almost every piece of content in this game, you're an idiot. Yes, he grinds PvP every day, but that's because he's already done basically everything else he's done.
having more experience, not punish them by preventing them from progressing. Not to mention that because of the energy system limitations, paired with a level breakthrough system,
Are you missing
there can
right
be
now?
huge discrepancies
How are you
between players
missing?
that have been putting in the same amount.
Bro, he went up into the air for his umbrella thing, and I shit you not, he missed every single... Like, hold on.
Not
What?
to mention that because of the energy system
He goes up there. It is a stunned target.
limitations,
Miss.
paired
Miss,
with a
miss,
level
miss, miss,
breakthrough
miss. I...
system,
What?
there can be huge discrepancies between players that have been putting in the same amount of time in the game. One player can
Lag,
roll
true.
almost perfect
Yeah, it all got blocked. Yeah, why would you not go to the other side of the win wall? He's stunned.
stats on their first gear set after a level breakthrough,
What?
while another player can get the worst possible rolls, which makes the first player perform 100 times better in almost all content, while the other player is stuck with a garbage build and they can do anything
Bro, this is all he can do. He drops the stun, then goes up in the air and pelts him with the umbrella. That's it. That's all he's got.
to change that.
Yeah, and then he plays safe until the stun comes back up. It's wild.
Here's another thought. What is the point
Why is the opponent so squishy? Because although he has a of gear, he's terrible at PvP, so he's really low elo. So he's playing against players that are like level 60. There it is. Was I not supposed to say that part out loud? Sometimes umbrella projectiles don't hit when the boss or the player is at the boundary wall. Yeah, but you guys deserve that, because I'll be honest with you, the amount of abstinence that you guys constantly preach, I think that you were some like Catholic priest with the little amount of sex that you guys have had.
of designing such a huge open world if there is almost no reason to do combat in the open world? Make the enemies in the open world have good gear drops or good material drops to give us a reason to explore and kill enemies around the map, instead of just chasing insects and finding random chests.
Does that guy look like he knows what the he's doing? This evil X guy? This guy look like
I
he knows.
honestly think all the issues I have listed are some of the major reasons for people quitting the game.
Guys, he stunned him, and then he went up in the air, and he started pelting him with the crazy.
This game is clearly very
Insane
well
combo.
made. It's one of the best games I've ever
And then, you guessed it, he stunned him again, and now he's gonna pelt him.
played, but there are some design decisions which make no
And
sense,
then he's gonna hit F,
and they are hurting
and now
the
we're
game
gonna
more
wait
than
for
they
the
are
stun to
helping.
come back up.
Hopefully, the developers are already working on changing some of these things, and the game will
Okay,
get
he
better
killed him.
when the next major content update
Every
comes,
single one.
before it's too late. What are some things that you think the game is doing wrong, and what changes
Damn, bro. That's expert right there. Damn, bro. That's literally, that's expert right there, bro. That's crazy. That's the skill level for expert. That's insane. I just blast straight through that shit. What are we doing?
would you propose to make the game better? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I agreed with him on some things, but most of this I completely disagree with. I'm going to be honest. That's why the like ratio on the video is cooked too. Anyway, I'll let you guys decide. You guys can go interact with it, like it, comment, whatever. But yeah, that video was sent to me to see what I would think about it. I think that most of his ideas were not great. Not, in fact, the opposite of good. The opposite of good. So a little bit rocky, as it were. This got sent to me. This is apparently brand new. What is this?